recorded for the exposition of public policy contained in the address of His Excellency the President delivered in Parliament on Thursday, 21st November 2024, and further that this House notes the following reports submitted by His Excellency the President in fulfillment of the provisions of Articles 132(1)(c) and 247 of the Constitution, laid on the table of the House on Monday, 25th November 2024. 1. The 11th Annual Report on the measures taken and progress achieved in the realization of national values and principles of governance. Honorable Speaker, if you can protect me from the loud noise by the member for Tigania East, who is also the chair for Agriculture, the chairman of the Budget and Appropriations Committee, Dindi Nyoro.
Those Kamkunjis are illegal.
Honorable Pauline Languris and Rebecca Tongei. Their consultations are a bit too loud. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. 2 is the 11th Annual Report on the progress made in fulfilling the international obligations of the Republic of Kenya. And 3, the Annual Report to Parliament on the state of the national security. Honorable Speaker, in fulfillment of the provisions of Articles 132(1)(c) and 247 of the Constitution, the President of the Republic of Kenya last week on Thursday delivered his State of the Nation address for the 2024 year, the Council and the functions and responsibilities of national security, which is mandated to once every year to report to the National Assembly on the state of the security of the nation, and that is what the President was doing in fulfillment of that particular article, reporting on behalf of the National Security Council on the state of our security as a country. On Articles 132(1)(c), Honorable Speaker, the President is required under 132(1)(c) to once every year report in an address to the nation, and that's what he did on Thursday, on all measures taken and the progress achieved in the realization of the national values referred to in Article 10, and then subsequently publish that in the Gazette notice, and which has already been done, Honorable Speaker, and submit for debate to the National Assembly on the progress made in fulfilling the international obligations of the Republic. And the President was able to submit all those reports, and they are therefore before the House for debate. Honorable Speaker, I speak to our national values because it's important, Honorable Speaker, to remind ourselves, what are these national values that we expect the President to come and report on their realization? And among these national values, Honorable Speaker, are 1, patriotism, national unity, sharing and devolution of power, the rule of law, democracy, and the participation of the people. 2 is human dignity, equity, social justice, inclusiveness, equality, human rights, non-discrimination and protection of the marginalized. And C is good governance, integrity, transparency and accountability, and D, sustainable development. And therefore, the question that begs, Honorable Speaker, when we listen to the President, did he speak to some of these issues? Did he speak to the issues that guarantee us that there will be sustainable development in our country? Did he speak about good governance? Did he speak about integrity, transparency, and accountability, even amidst the challenge that he threw to the House on the enactment of the Conflict of Interest Bill? And for the record, Honorable Speaker, let me state that it is indeed true. We did, as the National Assembly, adopt and pass the Conflict of Interest Bill earlier this year. which was transmitted to the other house in the Senate. They did enact a number of amendments, which the committee of JLAC has considered and disagreed substantially with many of the amendments that were diluting that bill. And we have therefore caused a mediation committee. And it's on record, Honorable Speaker, that when the first mediation committee was called, not a single senator was present to attend the mediation committee. And I would like to take this opportunity to ask members of the other house in the Senate to avail themselves for the mediation process. Because then if there's a house that is conflicted in the conflict of interest, it is not this house. It is a house that diluted the bill. And it is also the house that has been unavailable for the mediation process. And I believe the Honorable Murugara is ready. And indeed, we have had discussions with the leader of majority in the Senate. And Honorable Murugara had a discussion with him on Sunday, yesterday, Honorable Speaker, to expedite with the mediation process and reach out to the chair of the JLAC committee in the Senate, so that those members in the Senate who are supposed to be in that mediation committee may be available. Because this conflict of interest bill, Honorable Speaker, is not just something the President mentioned by passing in asking us if there is any conflict of interest in passing the conflict of interest bill. We expedite and pass it because it is critical in the fight against corruption. And if we expect the President, Honorable Speaker, to be speaking about good governance, about integrity, about transparency and accountability in government, then it cannot happen. And even on sustainable development, we cannot have sustainable development without speaking and acting on conflicts of interest. More fundamentally, Honorable Speaker, was the directive that the President issued from the floor of this House, and I was hoping that the National Treasury officials were listening to the President on the question of e-procurement. We cannot have transparency in procurement if we do not move towards digitization of our procurement processes. But, Honorable Speaker, as the President mentioned, or rather, I don't know if he mentioned, he didn't mention, but he said we have faltered on actualization of the e-procurement. And that faltering is not in the last 10 years. Since the Kibaki regime, we have always spoken about e-procurement. And I am glad that the President did direct, but by the end of the first quarter of 2025, the National Treasury must ensure that e-procurement is not something we are talking about, it becomes a reality. And it is indeed possible, Honorable Speaker, to have e-procurement if we are to deal with accountability and transparency in the procurement of goods and services in government. Because the root cause of corruption anywhere in government, Honorable Speaker, across the two levels of government, issues to do with corruption revolve around two major issues. One, conflicts of interest. Two, procurement issues, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, if we are able to enact the conflict of interest bill and we are able to actualize the e-procurement processes in both levels of government, then corruption will be a matter of the past. Honorable Speaker, in speaking to the issues that I've spoken about of sustainable development, Honorable Speaker, the President went at length to enumerate the gains that his administration in the last 2 years has achieved, right from the appreciation of the Kenyan shilling against the US dollar, from a high of 162 shillings, Honorable Speaker, to a low of 129 shillings. Two, Honorable Speaker, in managing our inflation, that for the first time, and this is data that is there from the National Bureau of Statistics, it is data that is there even from our development partners, that for the first time in 17 years, inflation, the rate of inflation has fallen to almost 2.7%. And Honorable Speaker, from a high of almost 9.6%. And the of inflation, Honorable Speaker, is what basically drives the high cost of living. And therefore, in speaking, Honorable Speaker, to the issues that Kenyans have spoken very loudly about, the cost of living, in addressing the rate of inflation, Honorable Speaker, by deliberate investments in production and not consumption, Honorable Speaker, that is how this administration has been able to bring down the rate of inflation, which largely is driven by our foreign exchange rates, the cost of fuel
Order.
around the world.
Honorable Mbuyi and Kawaya, you may be required to carry out that animated discussion elsewhere. You are making it difficult for even the speaker to follow the proceedings.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. You know, I was also getting very distracted because when they converse in Kikamba, I'm only hearing Nesa Nesa. Thank you for that protection. Honorable Speaker, I was saying, by managing to contain inflation, we have, in a significant way, managed also to contain the high cost of living. And I know we are not